Yeah. You won't be too tired from work to set up a computer.
Yeah, first world problems. Hey everybody, welcome back to another Anime4ALL podcast.
Hey everybody.
Sorry for the long wait. I'm hard.
Anime4ALL.
I should
What?
probably start putting disclaimers for skipping ahead. That was an hour and 14 minutes of an intermission. That was all my fault. I take full blame for that. All right. I hope XOG is probably there. He's probably not. He's probably asleep.
Don't you think we need a theme song?
I've thought about that, but I was like, I got music playing in the background, so I think we should be fine on that front. I'm also kind of lazy. I don't want to have to pay somebody for that. Because I have no vocal inclinations whatsoever.
Anime.
Yeah, you started cutting off there.
Anime4ALL. What?
When you started singing and tried going into your orchestra performance, your microphone said it wasn't having any of it and cut you off immediately.
It knows me too well.
As your vocals were raising, it just cut you off. But okay, we're here to review with Spear. We're here to review the next episode of Rurouni Kenshin Season 2, Episode 6, Episode 31 in the chronological order of this show, Arrival in Kyoto, which we arrive in Kyoto. Not much happens here. A few things happen, but not a lot. But you know, Misao and Kenshin make it to make it to Kyoto, as also as Kaoru and Yahiko make it here too, because we find out later on that they're in Kyoto as well. And I had a feeling, I thought they were going to meet up eventually, because I should have known better. This is from an era in the anime where main characters, that are separated, if they're in the same town, they probably won't meet for an episode or two for some unknown reason, because something happens where they don't meet each other. I mean, in this episode, pretty much like they were supposed to go to a restaurant where Kaoru and Yahiko are staying, but something came up and they weren't able to go to the restaurant, so they are unable to meet each other for another day from the looks of it. But the episode begins with they get to Kenshin and the girl get to Kyoto, and Kenshin is worried because he actually hasn't been in Kyoto for a while. But they also got to give you an explanation about what's happened in Kyoto, and like I forgot that at least this particular Kyoto wasn't the original one. I forget that, like, I'm not sure how many. The Kyoto had moved apparently over to places, and they were just. Well, it is 62 degrees over there right now.
In Kyoto?
Yeah. Just looking at some information here really quick. Says all dang time, but one of the days I really want to go to Japan just to experience it. I know anime guy wants to go to Japan. Like, ooh, I can already hear the people in the background. Oh yeah, I shut up. It's like, yeah, I want to go. It's the only place I want to go in this world. Just to experience it.
We don't know.
Oh wait, Nintendo is based in Kyoto? This is something I should have known. So I just want to check. I feel like Kyoto being moved around isn't something is actual history, but I was just trying to figure it out if it's not. Okay, it looks like okay, so during the 8th century, when the powerful Buddhist clergy became involved in affairs of imperial government, Emperor Kanmu chose to relocate the capital in order to distance himself from the clerical establishment in Nara. His last choice for the site was the village of Uda in the Kadono district of Yamashiro province. Apparently, Kyoto did get moved, like they said in the show. But I'm pretty sure for different reasons. You're talking about like something that happened in Nara. Nara's really pretty looking. Okay, it looks like Kyoto was Nara before. Like I guess the initial where Nara is right now, there used to be I guess it used to be the capital. Then they moved the capital further, I think north or whatnot, because the emperor wanted to distance himself. And then
Edo.
Kyoto became what?
To Edo. The capital became Edo instead. And then Edo became Tokyo.
Now I was talking about Kyoto in specific because like at least one reading here, Nara was the capital of Japan during the Nara period from 710 to 794, as the seat of the emperor before the capital was moved to Kyoto. I just realized something. Kyoto is just Tokyo. If you just move the Kyo to the end of the O at the end there.
Okay.
So that was interesting as I was reading the note. I was just noticing it,
So it's an anagram of Tokyo.
basically. There's a lot of temples in Nara, jeez. I think based on what I'm learning here is that a lot of current day cities in Japan all used to be a different village back in the day. I want to know more about the Nara period, and I should probably look into that. I'm probably not, but maybe it's what I could do in the future. Oh, there's some Buddhist and Shinto shrines in there. There's a museum. Oh, there's a lot to do in Nara. Jeez, capital of capital of Japan is right. Oh, I heard about this. In Nara, the deers are kind of like treated as special, but they're allowed to roam free. I don't think you're allowed to harm deer. So that's a thing. All right, we learn something new every day.
Strange. Why would you not be allowed to harm deer?
Hmm?
That's strange. Why would you not be allowed to harm deer?
I mean, they revere deer as special. Apparently, according to at least what I was reading, some deity apparently arrived in what was called Nara. Some deity had arrived there on a white deer, so they just revere deer as important symbols and whatnot.
Mhm.
It's kind of like how you're not allowed to kill geese over here, but people still do it.
It's clear that they revere deer. Dang it.
What?
I was just saying dang it for you. That's usually your stock answer for that kind of a thing.
But interesting. I thought I heard about deer in some city, but I wasn't sure. So okay, so it was Nara. But they arrive in Kyoto, and the Misao brings Kenshin to where she was staying with her grandfather, who's apparently a kook. I'm gonna say kook, but I guess he's a genuinely nice dude. He's just kind of very energetic for an old man. Huh?
He's comfortable expressing his emotions.
I don't know if that's expressing emotion. I think he's just really energetic. As old people tend to be in anime, I notice. This is good. It makes so they can be involved later on. I wonder if Megumi's gonna show up in Kyoto because they have her in the intro, walking beside them, and it sounded like she wasn't gonna be able to because she had patients to deal with. So I'm just taking that as she's not gonna show up. They make it to the inn where Miso is staying, and she hugs her grandfather. And then her grandfather starts giving her like a German suplex, or at least a start of one.
Yeah, pretty effective one. She turns blue and like looks like she's dying.
But she just can't breathe. I guess it's the starts of her not being able to live.
Yeah, because she turns blue and acts like she's dying. She can't breathe. That's the source of it, sure.
Besides, like this interaction with her grandfather, we get confirmation that this isn't just an ordinary old man because he apparently knows what Kenshin is, and I think he even refers to him as Battlesai. 1 minute. But that's not before like she like people like I guess her family was like waiting for her at home. There's like 4 different individuals like that come out to greet her, which shocks Kenshin. And kind of shocked me a little bit because there was some more people there apparently than I was expecting there to be. Kenshin decides he's gonna go, and then he gets stopped by the old man. He wants to give him his thanks, and then calls him Himura Batosai. So he pretty much reveals that he knows who he is. But I thought it was intriguing that he decided to like let that slip. But I guess Misao knows who you are, does she? And does Miso? I don't remember. Does Miso know who if Kenshin was a manslayer, or that didn't come up? I feel like her not knowing it is so. I don't know.
I don't think Miso knew.
I guess she still doesn't know because it's.
At least she doesn't reveal that she knows. If she's really been raised up to be a spy, then like she could be knowing things that she didn't let on. But you see so many times where she marvels at like who he is and like says he's something special and blah blah blah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go on the bet she probably doesn't know. I know that she's being raised up to be a spy.
You don't think she's being raised up to be a spy?
No, I don't think this old man would put his, his beloved granddaughter. I'm gonna put words in his mouth in danger like that.
The rest of the family is a spy, though.
Yeah, but, they're not being taken care of by him like a family member. I think they were all part of the group that he was a part of. I want to say. I don't know. There was no group that he was. I could be wrong and misremembering a lot of stuff going on. But he also kind of says like, you can hide your scar, which I didn't realize that Kenshin was hiding his scar. I don't know when he was doing that.
Yeah, I just kind of showed up wearing that thing, and I didn't know he was doing it.
But he has it in this frame right here.
Right. But he didn't do it in the previous episode.
He has it in this frame. Well, he wasn't in Kyoto when in the last episode.
Yeah.
I guess could also be true. Like, I think whenever people refer to Battlestar, they always talk about a man with a red hair and a scar, scar on his face. So that's just like a very like not many people are walking around with I guess scars on their face. But it's interesting that that scar is there and still there, even though you think it would have healed by now. If it is like a battle wound and whatnot.
This scar could have been very deep. We don't know how he got that scar.
You don't know he got this scar. I already know. I've actually just not been trying to say much or anything about it.
No, well, it hasn't been revealed in the anime yet.
Wait, has it? Oh no, it hasn't. Never mind. I had to think real deep about that. Like, did they show how I got? No, he didn't.
I figured that how he gets the scar is like a big storyline.
Oh yeah, it is. What I remember, I'm not gonna say anything. I just from what I remember. I think it has something to do. I could be completely wrong if I'm remembering this correctly or wrong or whatever. Again, I didn't really look too deep into the manga, at least for I remember. Back when the anime had ended, I think his scar was a story point, like a huge story point. Like a lot of it was linked to before the show started.
Yeah, I think that I was pretty clear that to me that it happened before the show started because in episode 1 he has the scar.
Wow, that Japan. I hope you can see what I'm Japanning about. Animals and buttholes. I didn't notice they did that. I should have known that they were going to do that, but yes, girls are looking at this dog, and I don't. You said it's not a chow chow. I'm not sure what that is. Is that a like an Alaskan husky or something?
I don't know.
I
don't know
mean,
dogs very well.
huh?
I don't know dogs very well.
Yako's saying that is not Japanese. It means it's definitely an American breed. Well, not American breed. It's definitely a European breed. But the dog's gathering attention. That's kind of weird that there's if that's not a Japanese dog, that there's one just there in Japan. Wonder if that's insinuating there's someone else here that we don't know about. That's me being legitimately curious. I don't know what that means. That seems like a really random. Now I'm actually thinking about it. This is like a really weird place for them to reveal there's an American, there's like a European dog or not Japanese dog here.
Yeah.
But at that point, like Kyra was like wondering if they can find Kenshin in his city.
European dog, then it's just kind of a little nod at how the world is changing so much from your European influence being embraced by Japan finally.
Yeah, that could just be the westernization. But that seems really weird because it seems like a wild dog.
I also thought it was interesting that Kyoto was like a Buddhist center for Japan, and it comes right after we see the Buddhist that was kind of rejected and was like a rogue Buddhist.
Well, Kyoto is actually, I think, a Buddhism centered area. It's not like Buddhism has completely been eradicated. It's just been, I think, eradicated in certain places.
Yeah, but it's interesting that we go from a Buddhist that like has been from a place where it was eradicated to the Buddhist center of like Japan.
Yeah, I get. Yeah, that really is interesting. Wait, what? City is a cultural anchor for the essential larger Kyoto, Kyoto. I wonder where the heck is that? Okay, Because I want to say Buddhism is still definitely practiced in Kyoto, if any place. Yeah, Buddhism and Shintoism is definitely here. But yeah, it is kind of whether they eradicated it elsewhere. It was probably one of those situations where they're trying to like not call that religion, but they're trying to like make sure that it's only in certain places. So you have to go to certain places if you're trying to, if that's what you believe.
Well, that's mean of them.
This is Japan back in the days when war was a thing and an everyday occurrence. Of course, it's mean.
Do we know for a fact that that Buddhists are welcome here still, and that it's not like being eliminated here too?
What do you mean here? And you talking in America?
I'm talking about Kyoto.
I know I was looking at information, and as far as I can tell, it's where Buddha's temples are. They don't seem to be trying to eradicate it. He doesn't talk about them not being welcome. They're saying it's a huge center for that. I could re-look at that really quick. Or better yet, Kyoto and Buddhism. What's going on there? Kyoto, Japan has been the center of Buddhism for the thousands of years. It is known as the capital of Zen Buddhism. Buddhism was introduced in Japan in the 6th century and became a way of life for Japanese people. Kyoto, the political and cultural center of Japan, became a hub for Buddhist thought and practice. Kyoto has over 1,600 Buddhist temples, including many that are UNESCO World Heritage Sites. Probably pronounced that wrong. Buddhism is still practiced in modern Japan, but temples are facing fewer parishioners. Some innovative ways of Buddhism is being represented in using an android to make teachings more accessible and creating statues and ritual objects. So it's still there, and it's kind of what I expected. It's probably, again, it isn't such a widely practiced thing anymore. Um, Something that I kind of already knew about. The reasoning why I still don't really know too much about. Besides the culling of those those monks and whatnot, but there's probably plenty of other reasons that isn't widely known to everybody. But I know Shintoism has something to do with a little bit of it too. Again, Japan has a lot of religions, and it's one of the I think one of the countries that has a lot of them, and I think a lot of them butt heads because all of them believe different things. And I haven't even looked into Christianity being a thing that's been introduced in Japan because I think there are some that do believe in Christianity. Like I think a lot of places have that, but like Japan to me is kind of the weirdest one because like that's interesting considering what the culture that exists over there, what they believe and whatnot, the idea of all these deities that exist over there for them.
Mm-hmm.
The idea of ghosts and whatnot. So it's like Christianity existing over there in Japan, still one of the weirdest ones, but they do exist. I'm just not sure. Like they're probably a smaller section, if anything. But yeah, Buddhism still is practiced. It's just not widely practiced apparently. So something tells me probably in the next maybe 10, 20, maybe even 50 years, Buddhism is going to be completely eradicated from Japan if nobody keeps it up and whatnot.
That'd be pretty amazing with such deep roots and everything.
Yeah, I mean, not many people are practicing it, and I think I can honestly sit there and say too, is like with the way I think that at least Asian youth are nowadays, they're more about moving on than looking back. And they show that a lot in some anime too, where a lot of the youth are more about looking ahead than looking backwards. So it's like it's one of those things like I don't. They're probably not all that involved and interested in the history of Japan, even though they live there. But hey. I think the same can be said about any other country. The people who live here. You'd rather look forward than look back. I am not looking at anybody, especially not no orange person in charge.
He's a religious leader.
I hope he gets struck with lightning on the day of the 20th.
He signs Bibles and sells Bibles.
No, he makes them. Specifically in Mexico. No, China. That's an actual thing, by the way. Moving on. But Kaoru is like questioning whether they're gonna find, Kenshin here, and Yaku's like, you better not go get Mopi again, and then we cut away from them, apparently, I think. Well, actually not before, like, I guess Miss Tai apparently had sent word to her sister, that she was sending some friends over to stay with her in their in her restaurant. And then when they meet her sister, and they're very confused at first, like, wait, Miss Tai, no, that's actually her sister, her twin sister. Her name is Sai. And I immediately thought, this is a Nurse Joy situation, isn't there? And if you would have known what I'm talking about, in the Pokemon anime, in the Pokemon games, when you're battling creatures, they can sometimes get hurt and faint. So basically, you take them to a Pokemon Center. And there are nurses in there. And they all look the same, no matter where you go. They all look the freaking same. And apparently, according to the anime lore, they're just sisters. There's just a huge family of sisters and cousins. They all look alike. And it's just an accepted fact of that world. And it has been that way for 20 plus years. I think it's kind of changed a little bit. Because nurse stores don't look the same. And like, in the most recent region, I forgot the name of it. Wow, I'm really bad. I play Pokemon all dang time. I don't remember the recent region. But they just don't, huh?
You're just awful.
You don't have to. You don't have to dig deeper. You could just let it be.
You're trash.
Wow. Piccolo's trash. No, I'm sorry.
You make a dumpster fire. You make a dumpster fire look like fine dining.
Jesus. Wow, that hurt. That hurt a little bit. The heck. I think in recent Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, the nurse joys there don't look the same. And it took me a little bit to realize that they don't. Like, they don't look like any nurse joy anywhere else. They actually look like civilians for the most part. But it's just one of the weird things. Like, they're just twin sisters. Like, okay, you say twin sisters, so I guess there's only one extra one. I hope there might not be another. It's like restaurant someplace else. There's another sister that looks like. I'm like, oh no. I was just reminded of Pokemon when I saw her. I was like, they look and sound the same. What the heck, Kenshin? But after that, as they're looking around, as they're getting ready to look around to, I guess looking for Kenshin, they notice that Shinomori is also around, and Yako is sweating bullets when he sees him. Rightfully so. That guy was dangerous. And that man's like, gee, he got here quick. Because I think when Ayoshi was invited to Kyoto to meet Shishio, he turned down the invitation. Oh, that's right. He came here to get flowers. You mentioned that. Ayoshi came here with flowers. Huh. I hope he gets them. And then leaves without finding Kenshin.
Why did he come for flowers?
His dead comrades' graves. The rocks that you didn't realize there were graves.
Okay.
He made mention that he wanted to get flowers for his, for the graves before it was too late, so he came to Kyoto for them. I'm guessing it's the main reason why he's here. Though we all know what's going to really happen. He's going to get recruited to help Kenshin fight the Shishio's gang. The timing couldn't have been any better. And then we come right back to what's this man's name? I feel like we Akane. Oh, his name is Ninji. Okay, I didn't see that when I first watched this episode. His name is Ninji. Um, but yeah, we come back to Kenshin and Ninji, and he explains to Kenshin his backstory. He used to be an Oniwa Bon gang spy, or Oniwan, Oniwa Bon spy back in his youth, or whenever he was working. And apparently, he was really good at it. I think he was like the top spy. I think.
Yeah, he was a major spy. He was top spy, and he was so high that like they considered like making him their leader, right?
I know he was up to be the leader, and he decided to let Shinomori be the one.
Right. But it was his to lose.
Yeah, basically, I mean, he was good enough that they wanted to make him the leader. I think that's pretty impressive too. It's like he must be really freaking strong. I wonder if he's stronger, him or Ayoshi. Probably Ayoshi, considering that he's younger than him, but who knows? He talks to Kenshin, and he's like, I guess it's like a thank you. He's talking about the Intel network that he had back when he was working. Apparently, he still has it, working, everything like that. And the people that are also in this inn that he's using as like a front are also, trained spies as well. Which I find that's actually kind of impressive because they look normal, but I'm guessing when they're in their, go ninja, go mode, they look different. Yeah, it's like he's offering his like Intel network because he knows the ins and outs of Kyoto.
Ninja. Oh, Vanilla Ice, so good.
And apparently, Ninja knew about Shishio setting up, base inside Kyoto, but he wasn't all that concerned until Kenshin showed up. So first, he's gonna help Kenshin out. And he offers Kenshin an olive branch, and he decides to. Kenshin says to take him off on his offer. And he wants to look up two people. Apparently, one's a swordsmith, who I actually end up looking up. That swordsmith is an actual real swordsmith that did in fact make swords for war. And I think for the Imperial, he made it for the Imperial King, whatever. But yeah, he was a real swordsmith. Like his swords and everything were really well renowned. Like they were really well used, basically. Now, as far as if he was the one that made the backwards blade that they found, I have no idea.
You're not sure if he was the one that made the backwards blade. Oh, you mean in real life?
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be up for debate.
Nobody knows this blade actually is supposed. No one knows that this blade actually exists, but they found one. Is basically what the consensus is. Like, it shouldn't exist, not according to the history of Japan, because there's no record of anybody using it. So it's possible that somebody back in ancient Japan or whatever thought about making a blade like that and did make a blade and just never sold it. And I think that kind of like tracks with with like metallurgy and whatnot. I'm pretty sure they make all kinds of stuff in practice, right? And not all of it makes it to the shelf. It's kind of like how in real life when you get stores, like not everything that they sell makes it to the shelf usually. A lot of stuff ends up in the back room for some reason and stays there for months to a year. So they go back there and sort of, oh, I have this back here. We'll sell this for cheap, It's quite possible that somebody made a backwards blade and just never told anybody about it. Could have just been one of those like, I wonder if I could do it, and they did it. And maybe they just weren't happy with it, or they knew that it wasn't going to sell. So they didn't bother mass producing any of these things. So again, they're not really all that useful in a world that they're going to kill you with sharp edges. So other than using it as a blocking blade, which I guess would be interesting, the thought is like having a sharp sword and a blunt sword, using the blunt sword as a shield, kind of.
Or a practice blade.
Well, I guess they. Well, no, but didn't they have access to bamboo blades at that time? Bamboo swords, not blades. Bamboo swords.
But if you wanted to manage, like, learn how to manage the weight of a real sword and stuff like that, bamboo swords are only going to do so much for you.
I guess because there's a record of it, so I feel like you have a record of it. It was being used as a pack. Well, then again, they could be practicing in secret. Could be it too. But like, there's a couple ways I feel like this could have escaped record, and the fact that there's no record of this blade being in existence may mean that maybe other reverse blades somewhere in ruins somewhere that you just haven't found yet. It also be possible there's some village out there they didn't know about to Japan that it was just existing by itself. Because I mean, those exist. Hidden cities exist. We our villages are islands. We learn about that village that's like humans. Going out there in the middle of nowhere, you try to get nearby, they start pelting you with arrows. They're very territorial. Which again makes sense because, like, I mean, if they haven't dealt with any disease and whatnot, they don't want none of your diseases. But it makes sense.
That sounded kind of savage, though.
I mean, people said that when they got near the territory, they were immediately attacked. It wasn't like a, hey, get back. It was like you enter their territory and you immediately start getting pelted. And I'm like, that just seems dangerous. Like, I don't know how you not run into them out there where they are, because there's no record of them existing. Like, at all. You don't know they're out there. I think now you know they're out there because people, like, now just, like, avoid this area at all costs.
Yeah.
So it's one of these, like, okay, we'll just, like, again, there might have been a village out there in Japan nobody knew about, possibly, that made these swords for ritualistic purposes, maybe? Who knows? But, yeah, but Kenshin is asking for 2 people, and one of them was apparently the guy who forged this Sakamoto in the first place. He sends out the Ninja sends out his somebody to go and find out this person. The other person I completely forgot the name, but they don't talk about that person. At least it's not this episode. I think Ninja said that he found that person too, right? Or did he only find one person that Kenshin asked for? Yeah, Shaku Arai and the other one's Seijiro Hiko. They only found, like, well, they didn't find Arai. That he was already dead, but they found his son, who we'll learn later on, like, isn't forging weapons anymore. Because, like, they're not, he can't really make a living doing it, so he makes kitchen knives that apparently are just as sharp as a real samurai blade, because Kenshin uses one, cuts a radish, and it somehow heals itself.
Using some sort of mystery technique or something.
I think basically he said he swiped it.
Can only be done with a master's sword, or master's blade, and a master of using it.
I mean, I bet that could be done in real life. Based on the sounds of it, all he really did is he apparently sliced it in such a way that when he placed them back together, they just healed. But they healed in a way, like they somehow healed immediately. Though, I mean, I'm pretty sure that might just be anime. I don't know. I don't know anything about swordsmanship, so I don't know what
it's just anime.
The ins and outs of wielding a sword. You say that, but I wouldn't have thought there would have been like an actual reverse blade out there. So we don't know what what was abandoned, by swordsmith. That I will have to say I'm probably more leaning towards the whole it's just anime, but you never know. You never know.
Sometimes you know.
Not all the time. It's best not to assume that because you end up invading other countries.
I said sometimes you know, not all the time you know.
I'll get that, but sometimes it's just best to assume you don't know. so you don't do that unfortunate invading of of other land masses. Oh, the Kaoru runs into that, the duplicate later. Never mind. I thought they ran into her. It's almost been a flashback. Okay. Yeah, the kitchen knife was interesting. I'm also wondering too, because apparently he has a sword that his father had forged, but he didn't want to give it to anybody. Which I think I'm willing to bet that sword that he's holding on to is a reverse blade.
No, I imagine it's a regular blade.
Why though? Like that.
Because he assumed that this guy wants a killing sword, and
But no,
he
if the
wouldn't.
last sword that I think that the guy, well, at least I'm assuming the last sword that guy that made was for Kenshin, why not make a backup just in case? Just in case, like Kenshin comes back wandering maybe one day. One day. No, wait, no one held the future. I just feel like it. I feel like because he's assuming again, yeah, he's assuming Kenshin wants a killing sword, and he's not making killing swords anymore because he's a pacifist. To me, it's like he doesn't know what that sword is he's holding on to. He's just assuming. I don't think he ever drew it. 'Cause I feel like if he had drawn it, he would have given it to Kenshin. Because
Yeah,
the sword does not kill. You can't. Well, I mean, Kenshin's a different breed. Let's get that straight. I mean, he could probably kill someone with a sock. I think, as you said last time we were reviewing the show, but you can't really kill with that sword because it's a reverse blade. To me, I don't like. That's what I believe. That sword that he's holding on to, that he thinks is a killing blade, is not a killing blade. He'll probably see that it's not a killing blade and realize his father had changed his ways before he had died. I'm pretty sure we're not done with Shaku because after Kenshin leaves, respecting his wishes, I will say that them seeing that Kenshin had a radish on him the entire time, I will have to admit I don't know where he was hiding that.
yeah, and didn't wasn't he like practically starving? Like, how did he afford it? And like, why didn't he eat it?
He probably got it from the village tavern he was just in.
Maybe, yeah. Still, how did he afford it?
Again, he brought home their granddaughter, or their friend. They probably just say you can have it. I just think it's kind of funny that he doesn't look any different, and he just pulls this radish from his kimono.
Those are chill ass robes he's wearing.
I don't know, like how, like that's a big radish, by the way. It's not a small one. It's a pretty big honking vegetable, or whatever, and it's hiding in there. I'm like,
It's like 3 feet tall.
how did you hide that in you? It's not like it has pockets, or maybe it's got pockets. I don't know. It was just comical, how, like that he just and they have ta-da.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's a magic trick. uh, yeah, the swordsmith. He's got a daughter. I mean, he's got a son and a wife. And at first, I thought they were going to pull the whole, the child of the swordsmith is actually a woman. I'm surprised they didn't do that. But like, his wife's like, why didn't you just give him the sword or make one? He didn't want to do that because he believed that the sword was a sword killing was a life taking sword versus life giving. Which I like that concept keeps coming back up. The whole concept of a life giving sword.
Yeah.
After they leave, I'm just trying to get to that point. Kitchen doesn't have the heart to make him do that. He'll find another way around, I'm guessing. Um, but then apparently there's some spies, at least from the looks of it, spies working for Shishiro, and they just so happen to be walking by, um, you know, the shop where this guy is like selling you know, kitchen knives and whatnot. Which I want to say those kitchen knives look very modern for what they're supposed to be. I noticed like they don't look like, I mean, I actually like what an old timey kitchen knife would look like, but they look like something you would see in a modern kitchen versus a kitchen in Japan at this point in time. But I guess it's also the modernization thing that's kind of taken over too. So I'm guessing maybe that's what it has to do with.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, we leave them, and then we have Shisho and his. What'd you call her? I think he had a term for her, but I completely forgot what it was. His
Too young to
girlfriend,
be
huh?
too young to be sexy.
Too young. Okay, we'll just. I'll just go with his side piece. We're walking in a cave, and she's complaining about being in a cave again, and he's like, just bear with it for. I think he said a month. I forget how long. Oh no, it's only for 2 to 3 months. And apparently this is a cave that they've
Oh
like.
yeah, that guy. I'm sorry, I mistook who you were talking about.
Who do you think I was talking about?
The girl, the ninja girl that follows Kenshin around for the last couple
Oh,
episodes.
I was talking about Shishio's girlfriend. Um, we follow them into the cave, and then uh, again, I'm gonna have another Pokemon reference here for everybody. Um, I swear this man that meets Shishio in here looks like Discount Giovanni. I don't know what Spirit thinks, but he really
I don't.
looked like Giovanni to me.
I don't know who Giovanni from Pokemon is.
He's a gym leader. Let me. I guess I can't get a picture for you.
I'm calling it up. Don't worry.
He's
Yeah,
like
I
the
could see that.
he's like the main villain for the Pokemon Red and Blue and Yellow series.
I could see that.
Like he looks like Discount Giovanni to me. I was just sitting here. Like, I couldn't take it. I was like, what's Giovanni doing here? I literally texted you after I watched this, like, who put Giovanni into my kitchen? It made things even worse. It looked like he had shadows in his eyes, but no, I think he's just wearing makeup because his eyes are just closed. As we see a little bit further in here, he actually opens his eyes as he's greeting Shisho with flowers. I think have a meaning in Rome or whatever. Oh, Gladiolus comes from Gladius, which I guess is the Roman gladiator. I think. I'm probably completely wrong. I'm actually waiting for Spirit to correct me. Or for sword in Latin. Huh.
You did it right. I don't know. I can't correct you.
Was that the actual name of a Roman gladiator?
Gladius. I don't know if it was the name of a Roman gladiator, but it's pronounced properly.
After that, like after he
There was
gets
a lot of Roman gladiators. I mean, it's who's to say that there wasn't one of them named that?
what a life to be a gladiator. Like you grow up as a kid in the streets of Rome, poor, broke, fighting over a piece of bread, and then you become an adult. You go into Julius Caesar's. That's what I'm gonna say. It is like Julius Caesar's like Roman gladiator pit. And you just go in there, never to come back out again.
You live a lot of your life.
I guess that's the end of it. I guess Shishio's gonna be training in this place by himself for a bit. I'm guessing that's what's gonna go on. He's gonna be doing over 2 to 3 months. So there's gonna be a lot of time passing with Kenshin fighting, I guess, his 10 swords. I'm guessing that's what's gonna happen. I had no idea. But Sanosuke hasn't made it here yet. And I guess Saito's got his own thing going on. I guess he'll be meeting them in Kyoto at some point. And right now, Kenshin does not know that Kaoru is in Kyoto, and Kaoru does not know that Kenshin is in Kyoto. They're both existing in the same place, and they don't know each other is here. One of them wants to find him. The other one ended up leaving her in Tokyo with a goodbye. Guess who I'm talking about? But that's the end of the episode there. So I guess next episode is going to be I'm not sure what they titled it. But so far, good anime. I like what's going on. I like the pacing could probably be a little bit quicker, but I mean, who knows? Like we're still I think at the first part of the first core of season 2. They're releasing the next core next year, from the sounds of it. So I'm not sure when this core is going to end.
What are we watching when it does end?
I mean, I suspect there will probably be. I think it's gonna end like right before. I don't know when the last episode's gonna be, but 'cause I know like they're releasing Dragon Prince, but I'm getting signals that apparently I guess it's the finale season. Well, there's that to watch. I feel like there's still so much a lot of unanswered questions, but apparently they're still gonna answer a lot of unanswered questions in the next season for Dragon Prince. Oh, and apparently,
I'm dying to find out what happens in Dragon Prince. The slow pace kills me.
I mean, they're not releasing shows on Nickelodeon. They don't got the monetary backing to be quick about it.
Yeah, I know.
I guess speaking of shows, we could talk about this real quick before we end here. Uh, I'll hold off on what I think about Diamond here in a minute. I want to just I don't typically talk about Dan to Dan at all here. I think the last thing I mentioned about Dan to Dan was just how crazy it is that the show's kind of based around somebody losing his balls and trying to get him back. But last episode, I gotta admit, I was not in with how silly this show was when it first started. Um, last episode got really freaking deep. So far there's been a lot of themes around women abuse with the show, at least when it comes to the spirit side of things. Haven't seen much from the aliens yet. I don't know when they're gonna come back. I suspect maybe we're gonna get the start of the alien arc or whatever soon at some point. But the aliens haven't shown up again. But there's been a few spirits that like specifically two dealing with like women being treated wrongly or little girls being raped and whatnot. In the last episode that he kind of showed, there was a spirit. I think it was, they called her acrobatic Silky, and she was trying to take this girl that apparently she had saw when she was younger. I mean, when the girl was like a little kid, when she had saw the spirit and mistakenly called her mommy, and she's pretty much this episode. These last two episodes were pretty much about the spirit trying to get this girl who was in her teens now, doesn't even remember her, and apparently lost her ability to see spirits along the way. And I'm not entirely sure when that happened, but apparently she was able to see spirits when she was a little girl, and then at some point she lost it. She got him back by, and I'm not kidding, she touched one of the main characters' missing testicles, and get flooded with spiritual energy. I know this show gets better and better. But basically it got really freaking deep because like that spirit that I mentioned before, the one that's trying to like take the girl and eat her or whatever, you find out when she was alive, when she was a human, she was a mother who was taking care of her daughter. And apparently it was kind of being insinuated throughout the course of seeing her life, because this all happens because the girl, she ends up getting eaten by the spirit, and she gets spit out, but she's dead as a result because apparently humans can't be swallowed by yokai. If they do, they get eaten. So you only able to survive if you have some spiritual or some psychic protection around you. This girl didn't. So they end up trying to revive her with the aura of the ghost, and like the main character Momo, she ends up like touching the aura, and she would get this entire backstory of the spirit before she had became angry and became a monster. We find out when she was human, she was very poor. It was insinuated from what I could tell. This from what I could tell, she might have had potential to be a ballerina when she was younger, but then she got pregnant and she had to give up on that and she started working. She started working all kinds of jobs to make ends meet. And apparently, one of the jobs she had was prostitution.
Okay.
We only see this one when we first wake up in her backstory. She's getting up from a bed and she's nude, and there's money on the table next to her. So you can first assume like she must have slept with somebody. Um, and she ends up going home. She ends up walking home, and she's got an umbrella. It's raining. She sees this red dress, this red dress in the windowsill. She's walking home. The red dress is significant because when she's corrupted or whatever, she's in her yokai form. She's wearing a red dress. In present day, so it's kind of interesting that we see that in her backstory. But
Yeah, it is.
she ends up going home, and I from at least from what I could tell, she seemed kind of ashamed, and she was slowly putting the key in the doorknob, and she turns it, and opens the door, and a little girl runs out and grabs her to hug her, and basically that's her daughter. And pretty much we go through her life as she's taking care of her daughter, and she's going to these jobs. She's working as a custodian one day. She's doing all kinds of odd jobs, just trying to get some money. And apparently, throughout the course of this, we start seeing her skimming some money, from her paychecks and whatnot. I guess to save. She ends up buying her daughter this dress, and there's a birthday with her daughter in it. And, it's very sweet and whatnot, and you can already tell where this is going, just based on the fact that she's already dead, but in present day. But apparently something happens. Some guys, who I'm guessing are loan sharks or something, apparently she isn't able to pay. They beat her up. They throw her into a mirror. The mirror crashes. The mirror starts going. Slice up her backside. It's very deep.
Okay.
Um, the daughter's crying. She runs at the guys trying to protect her daughter. They smack her in the face. The glass goes into her eyes, making her blind. She goes flying to the other side of the room. They grab the little girl, the daughter, and they just run out the door. She's on the ground, obviously bleeding out from all the wounds. Then she gets
Right.
up, runs out the door, and it's raining. She's running down the stairs. She runs over, trying to figure where her daughter is. She makes it out to the street. And by the way, I want to point out, there's nobody on the street. By the way, I don't know who didn't see this, and that upsets me a great deal. But whatever. Um, she runs up the street. She's running towards the car. She falls. Falls face forward, a face planet, and that's the end of it. Her daughter's gone. And then apparently, and I didn't even know this is what they're trying to trying to allude to without saying too much. Because the next thing is she starts dancing around like a ballerina, and she starts spinning around, just spinning around four, and then the scene cuts away, and then you hear a thunk. And I didn't realize at first. I thought she just died of of bleeding out. Apparently, she committed suicide. She jumps off of a really tall building. She pretty much just leaps off doing a ballerina somersault. She kills herself.
Okay.
Then basically she wakes up as a spirit, doesn't know what's going on. She knows she has lost something. She doesn't know what it is. That's when she meets Ira, the girl that when she was a yokai trying to eat. She ends up calling her mommy accidentally. Realizes it isn't her. Her father finds her and tells her like, "What are you doing over there?" She says she thought she saw her mother, and her mother is dead. So basically, the dead woman has lost her life and her daughter, while Ira has lost her mother. This is all coincidentally like really sad. It's like it happens at the same time. After she realizes that she lost her daughter, that's when she goes berserk and she turns into the spirit in present day. But we find out the girl that died. She lost her mother. And that's basically all they really tell us. But the thing is, we can tell a lot from a lot what happened there. That the fact that Ira was able, when she was a little girl, was able to see a spirit. As a little girl, at some point she lost the ability to see ghosts. I don't know when that happened. Like I could not tell
Okay.
you when that happened because it never go into detail. But after that happens, she gets revived. She wakes up, and I think it's clear that she saw that everything was going on with the spirit when she was alive. And then the ghost starts deteriorating after her life force is taken out. And apparently, because she hasn't like moved on, or she isn't at peace, she lost her aura, which was keeping her around. Now that she lost her aura, she's just disappearing. But she's not gonna move on to the afterlife because she's not at peace. So she starts disappearing, and apparently she's gonna go into the void. This is all explained from a. This is all explained by the grandmother ghost that took the guy's balls. But I didn't explain that bit. Uh, the two episodes prior, they end up sealing her into a ghost. They end up sealing her into a lucky cat doll. Um, but also inadvertently separating her from her powers. So the main guy now has her powers, but the ghost spirit is inside of a cat doll. It's just now hanging around because they made a deal with her that they give her powers back once they get his missing balls back.
Yeah.
By this point, he's got one. He's got one or two. I don't know what the other one is. But the episode pretty much ends. Ira ends up, hugging her, hugging the spirit as she's disappearing, and it's assumed that at least to me, I assume that she must have she must have managed to become at peace, after realizing what she had done, and then she moves on. Ira says that she won't forget her. That's how the episode ends. So everything's like resolved. She got her life back. But I'm pretty sure the side effect of her getting an aura is she got powers.
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure like when that's gonna be revealed or whatever, but I'm certain the side effect of her is she got powers from that. So at some point we'll see what's going on with her. But yeah, so far this show's been it's deeper than I was expecting or ever wanted a show of this magnitude to be. So all the ball jokes aside, this is an interesting show, and I actually am very excited to watch more. All ball jokes aside.
So
Okay,
many ball jokes.
huh?
So many ball jokes.
Yeah, they keep making them in English dub. Which, by the way, this freaking anime is being released English dubbed at the same time they're releasing new episodes in Japan. I don't know how they're doing it. I don't know why they're doing it, but they're doing it. And it's shocking me because this has never happened before. This is historic.
Yeah.
So I'm watching it English dubbed, and I'm liking it so far. And I don't want to hear any booing from the peanut gallery about English dub. You can go watch Japanese sub just fine. I have no problem with it. It was offered to me in English, so I'm gonna keep watching it in English. But really quick, Diana, um,
Before we get into that, do you mind if I step away for a sec?
sure.
Okay, thank you.
Oh dear. Oh shoot. Okay, that's just.
Thank you.
Uh, I'm totally just gonna. I guess I'm just gonna make a quick mention of Dragon Ball here. I don't know. I got much to say. It was interesting to see Lorio take a issue with Goku being stronger than him, which he was still clearly. But I will say, I'm now glad to know that he, at least when I can tell, he's definitely stronger than Yamcha. He might be. I would.
I don't know if
Krillin Tien level, I would say.
I don't know if he's stronger than Yamcha. He probably is a little bit, but I don't think it's like blow away strong.
You don't know that. You might also still be holding a transformation. I haven't rolled out that he can still. I haven't rolled out that he can transform. I just brought that to the table. And I'm pretty sure he probably does. Even if it isn't like a Jurassic transformation form, I'm pretty sure he's got one or something equivalent to it. I mean, magic magic is really freaking powerful, and I can just tell based on the way they. Again, I love when they do magic in anime. The fanfare of it all is freaking spectacular for me. I just love the way magic looks. And they do a good job of displaying magic here, and in the way it looks differently compared to Ki. So I really loved I loved everything about that electric attack. Um, I will say him talking to I think it's Arinsu was very off-putting and also very concerning at the same time. I guess I will say Supreme Kai's got one. He was right about this one. Usually he's not right about his suspicions, but this time he's actually right. So I gotta give Shin credit here. I guess speaking of Shin, what do you think of the whole Glenn thing and them being born from trees?
I thought that was awkward, but it doesn't really matter. I thought that it was interesting that they might be like plants, and then he said that he mostly eats liquid, and then later on they kind of slip and they show him eating some like food.
I don't think they
But
need to eat food. It's just they can though. It's kind of like Piccolo. He doesn't need to eat. He can eat, but he just doesn't.
yeah, but that's what I meant. It's like Piccolo, like the demons like that they're talking about are kind of like Piccolo, like only needing water just to survive, coming from the demon world, and like suddenly the Shins and the Namekians aren't so different.
I mean, yeah, when they did come from the same area, I'm still very confused. Where does Popo come from? Like, you're gonna get a chance to see if there's anything like Popo in that world. I would love to see them like give some like origin to Popo.
A race of Popos.
Yeah. I mean, they said that anything with sharp ears comes from there. Pointy ears, I should say. Sorry, pointy ears comes from the demon realm. So, Mr. Popo has pointy ears and horns, but he has pointy ears. It'd be really funny if they went the route of like having a Jinx-looking character in the world. Really bring everything together full circle.
It's kind of cool because like Kami is the keeper of the Dragon Balls, which can grant any wish, and helping him guard the Dragon Balls is a genie that typically like grants wishes.
I don't think Kami was a genie.
Popo.
They did call him a genie, didn't they?
If they didn't, he looks like a genie.
I just hope that if I mean they don't need to. It'd be kind of cool if they did. But they just said that the third demon realm's like the biggest, so there's a chance they'll probably run into many kinds of creatures along the way. I'm guessing. Yeah, the Glens being plant-like people is kind of interesting, and I think Akira said something about that years ago that they came from a tree, but I think I kind of glossed over it. I want to say that at some point there was information about them coming from trees, like like Supreme Kai, but I might have glossed over it. I don't really remember. I'm probably just gonna attribute this information to be in this episode only. If this is said someplace else out there and things that Kira said when he was alive, then boy oh boy did he keep to it. It's also another thing I want to bring up, especially with like Supreme Kai. Okay, so there's like 5 Glen trees. But I think I want to bring up is the fact that, huh?
Mr. Popo on in Wikipedia is identified that he's a genie. So Wikipedia must know something.
I guess genies might be. I mean, I guess to be specific, he might be a Jin, and Jin and genies. I don't want to. They're kind of the same, but Jin's a little bit more.
Isn't Jin just like another way of spelling genie?
I think maybe, but I think it might just be the appropriate way to say genie, and it might just be in the Middle East because I know that Jinns are supposed to be like evil, not evil, but they're not supposed to be friendly. Like the whole idea of a genie granting your wish was right because that's where it came from. But the idea of a genie just flat out granting your wish when you ask for it, I think might have been something the Western world kind of put in there. From what I was reading, jinns are supposed to be like tricksters. They're not like they can just flat out grant your wish, but sometimes they'll trick you. Is the idea. But they'll trick you into they'll twist your wish and pervert it around. They'll still grant your wish, but it won't be the way you intended. I think it's kind of like how the genie from Aladdin kind of said you need to word your wish correctly, or else you don't get what you want. It was like a nice way of pointing out that you better watch it because I might screw your wish over and I might do it on purpose. I think that's why it's called genie here versus a jinn. Because it's like an evil entity versus a wish granting happy go lucky blue fellow in a lamp.
Yeah.
Who apparently has Robin Williams' voice.
10,000 years will give you such a crick in the neck.
Infinite cosmic power. Itty bitty living space.
Phenomenal cosmic power.
Oh, sorry. I think infinitely is better. Whatever.
Tell that to Robin Williams. It's his baby.
I can't. He's dead.
Yeah. So now you're disrespecting the dead and saying you're doing it better.
Moving on. I respect you, Robin Williams. Moving on.
I just can't believe you're disrespecting Robin Williams.
No, I'm not. Don't you dare put that into the atmosphere. Yeah, if he's a genie, it's possible the genies come from the demon realm. Again, they say that anything with pointy ears comes from the demon realm, so there's a chance that genies are just like we never get a chance to see another Popo, but they're just like telling us that Mr. Popo is from there. I'm trying to think, is there any other creature in the Dragon Ball realm that needs like an explanation? Or I think the demon realm kind of sums up a lot of the things.
Demon Realm is explaining a ton of stuff.
Yeah, I think he did a good job with that. It also kind of this whole demon realm thing too.
Explanation of PyCon.
I think PyCon just comes from another world in the Universe 7, right?
I mean, he's so much like a Namekian. I'd like to know some confirmation on if he was like a Namekian from like millions of years ago before they evolved beyond him, or
I don't think that's the case because they're saying the Namekians always had pointy ears. I don't think PyCon's a Namekian. Yeah, I mean, but I don't know because PyCon doesn't come from Earth, so yeah, I don't know. I don't think they give an explanation or even a species to PyCon.
Yeah, but you said if there's somebody that needs that I'd like to see an explanation of, that's the one I'm gonna pick Python.
Well, this is weird because on Dragon Ball Wiki they have unknown, but then they also have him listed
Second,
as
I'd
a
like a little
Namekian. Huh?
second, I'd like a little more explanation of Tien. Would be my second choice. We have some explanation of him, but I'd like a little more.
I never really thought about this too much, but somebody brought up an interesting point about Tien. Um, I never really realized this, but has Tien actually been screwed out of power ups?
I guess so.
Because I can't think of. I can't.
He spent a lot of crucial points dead.
But then so has Krillin, though, and he's gotten power ups.
Yeah, but he was in the right place at the right time, like with Guru, stuff like that.
I guess I was trying to think because I don't know. Cause I know there's apparently that joke around that the Tien is apparently hated by. It's a joke. I mean, no one really knows that maybe Akira didn't like him.
Tien.
Yeah.
It's not impossible, I guess.
I mean, I think I always wanted an explanation for Tien. I mean, it wasn't even until recently, well, not recently, maybe a couple of years ago, that I wasn't aware that that third eye actually moved on its own. I think as a kid, I always thought maybe it was fake. Here, he's a human type Earthling, Triclops hybrid. I know apparently Akira some time ago made mention of like Tien being a part of some three-eyed tribe, but he never he never went into that. He just kind of just like threw that out there and never said anything about it. Three-eyed people. Because according to this is the wiki. I don't know where this information even came from. Apparently on Earth they're hybrids. There's nothing saying where they came from. Oh wait, what? Okay, so this is weird. Okay, so there's actual like physical media out there explaining that Tien is a part of like a descendant of the three-eyed people. Like there's actual mention that that's what Tien is. What the hell? Okay, well this is strange. Okay, I don't know. I think Akira might have goofed. I'm reading now that I think Tien is not an Earthling. He's an alien.
See, I want a more clear explanation about Tien.
I think Akira goofed. I don't know because here's the thing. I'm gonna read the overview because it's a paragraph, and then we can probably end off here with discussing a little bit. But while one of their descendants, Tien, makes regular appearances in Dragon Ball franchise, the actual pure three-eyed people never appeared in the series. The Triclops are first mentioned in Daizenshu books, and later in a small description booklet in boxes of Dragon Ball Z Season 1 and Dragon Ball Season 4 DVDs, both mentioning that Tien is a descendant of the three-eyed people. Tien's origin is also referenced in Dragon Ball Raging Blast, a game I never played, but What If Story, the top Earthling tournament, where after defeating Tien for the title of the strongest Earthling, Krillin asks if Tien is even from Earth. Tien's profile in Dragon Ball Raging Blast 2 mentions that Triclops as being an alien race. Tien's voice actor also noted in an interview that Tien was not an Earthling.
Interesting.
Here's something else. It is noted by Akira Toriyama himself that beings with a third eye on their forehead, like Tien, are thought to be godlike and possess the power of true seeing. However, due to being raised by the evil Master Shin, Tien lost the ability to use the myriad of powers of his third eye for good purposes. Huh, wait a minute. I always did think that Tien's ability to split into multiple people was kind of weird. I didn't really think too much about it, though, but I don't think some of his powers are kind of weird. Because, like, Krillin can't do it. Or he can't do it on the same level as Tien. I think Krillin showed that he could do it, but it wasn't like on the same level as Tien. The Zenchu 4 mentions that Tien has a unique physical composition that, as a throwback to his ancestors, he uses techniques that are impossible for a regular human-type Earthling, such as growing arms from his back, which he did do, I remember that, or splitting into 4 people. In the anime, however, regular Earthlings like Krillin are able to use the split into multiple people. That's the thing, I remember the Krillin being able to do that too.
I don't remember that.
But Krillin split into multiple people? I remember him doing it, I just don't know like when.
I thought you were implying that grow multiple arms.
Oh no, I wasn't implying. I probably should have been specific. No, I don't think Krillin ever did. No, he never did grow multiple arms. I feel like if he did, he'd probably be able to use the destructive disc a little bit more effectively.
Yeah. Why?
Multiple destructive disc, multiple control. He wouldn't be able to dodge it.
I guess so. He doesn't throw 2 with 2 arms.
I think he rarely does that, or if at all. He also possesses the ability to move each of his eyes independently, allowing him to look in multiple directions at once. Wait, what? When did he do this? I feel like I would remember Tien going cross-eyed. This person enhances rather his compromises vision like it would in real life, considering he uses his talent while seeing the Master Roshi's and Goku's after image strikes. However, another descendant named Jaji in Dragon Ball Fusions is noted that to be short-sighted and has poor eyesight, indicating that all descendants possess their enhanced vision. Who the heck is this? Who the heck? I'm seeing multiple versions. I'm seeing multiple people with 3 eyes all of a sudden now. What is happening? I do not remember this woman, and this looks like she was in the Dragon Ball anime. I do not remember her. Yeah, some explanation behind Tien would be awesome.
Why does launch shape change shape when she sneezes?
I think that was an experiment gone wrong. I think they explained that for her. Like she was experimented on, I think is what it was.
Or it could be a curse.
Well, I mean that too. I mean the sneezing thing would probably be a curse. She launches a woman with a strange disorder which causes her to switch between 2 different personalities. Well, she's human.
Both of her.
It says human type Earthling. It doesn't make specifics about which version of launch. She's a human female. This is the other information I really kind of wish that they kind of were more forthright with her, and you had to find out. She's dating Tien. This is something I was not aware of.
Must be kind of nice dating launch. Never gets old.
I'm gonna leave that to you.
What if they sneezed in the middle of sex? In the mid orgasm.
I knew that's what you're gonna do.
Sneezed in the middle of an orgasm.
Let's hope he was gonna need his balls back anytime soon. You know how one also one explanation I want like an explanation on, and it go hand in hand with Tien.
What?
Chaozu.
Chaozu's a little human with a painted face, I think.
That's not. I don't think it's a painted face. That's a painted face. I haven't seen him about the paint on his face.
I think it's makeup like Japanese emperors wear.
It looks like a mime.
He's a young emperor.
And he sucks as an emperor.
I know. Where's his empire?
I still find it weird that a lot of characters disappearing under Akira Toriyama's watch is just because, oh, I forgot. How? I get that they're not that prevalent, but how? And you could come up with a better explanation besides I forgot. He's like, well, they just weren't. I would have taken they just weren't important over I forgot.
Yeah, he doesn't take it so seriously.
It's like even Android 17 coming back. Like, I remember when 17. I guess as we end this podcast because we're getting really late. As I remember at the end of Dragon Ball Z when they had the Spirit Bomb, long 3-episode escapade. It's probably longer than that, knowing Dragon Ball Z at the time. But he had the Spirit Bomb escapade and he needed more energy. I remember 17 just showing up out of nowhere, no explanation at all. I didn't even know he was alive. So when he shows up, I was like, "What is 17 doing here?" No explanation. I don't think I ever found out what happened to him until years later when it was revealed that he was just brought back to life, and then, no, he Gohan punched him out of cell. I think is what this explanation. Gohan punched him out of cell, and then they removed the bomb from him. Either that or he was revived with the Dragon Balls, and he was also had the bomb removed from. Either way, I didn't know he was around, at all. So I was just very shocked when he was around. I was like, 17's been on Earth the entire time and hasn't went after Goku. What a world! What a world we live in. And on top of that, we find out Huh?
What a time to be alive.
Yeah, and then on top of it, we found out he also went off and had his own family. I'm just like, Akira, and I don't even know what his explanation for 17 just showing up randomly and never being addressed again. Because that's what happened. 17 just showed up and was never addressed again. 18 never brought him up or anything. And apparently we know that Krillin's met him a couple times because they're not on speaking terms.
Yeah.
So I don't know, it's just things that Kira says he forgets kind of weirds me out sometimes. I guess with that, we're going to end the podcast here. See you guys next week for the next episode of Kenshin. I guess we're talking about Daima, because apparently that's become a thing now. Good night, everybody.